This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 33 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's tip is sponsored by Equestrian Collections for the universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips. Visit equestriancollections.com. Enjoy today's tip. Glenn the Geek back here with you from Lexington, Kentucky on this Friday. And you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. I wanted to mention that we have a fantastic other show that we do called the 2010 Radio Show. We have several other fantastic shows we do, but I wanted to mention the 2010 Radio Show this week. The 2010 Radio Show is all about the 2010 World Equestrian Games. And we just produced and put out this week our 52nd episode. I've been doing that show for a year. My co-host Samantha joined me about 16 weeks ago, and we've had a lot of fun ever since. If you're not following that show yet, if you're not listening in, and you're at all interested in the World Equestrian Games next year here in Lexington, Kentucky, I encourage you to go to 2010radioshow.com. You can listen to all the back episodes. You can just start listening from now on, whatever you want to do. It's all there at 2010radioshow.com. It's a lot of fun. We interview some of the biggest name riders in the world, past World Equestrian champions, and it's just a good time. Check it out at 2010radioshow.com. Well, on today's show, I wanted to get another tip in from our photography expert, Scott Trees. And I wanted to do that because summer is running out. We're going to be into fall, and then we're going to be into winter, and I want to get as many of his photography tips in as I can. You know, he is one of the finest horse photographers in the world, and all of us hack photographers can certainly learn from him, and that's why I'm thrilled that Scott has agreed to do these short tips. If you missed his first couple of tips, you'll find him at Horse Tip Daily. Just go there. You'll see him on the list there and take a listen back to his previous photography tips. I used one of the tips the other day, and it did make a big difference again. I've been so impressed with the things he's been talking about. You know, he's known worldwide, Scott is, for his images of the horse. Scott has a unique personal perspective and a whole lot of talent. He has been practicing his craft for over 36 years and has had more frequent flyer miles than anyone I know. He does a variety of commercial shooting in addition to his horses, architecture, fashion, photojournalism, and offers all kind of photographic services as well. And he has clients all over the world. His dramatic use of light and strong compositional eye and emotional portrayal have been a hallmark of his style. We'll get to Scott's tip right after I say these few words about Equestrian Collections. If you're on Facebook at all, I encourage you to go there and search for Equestrian Collections fan page. They have some of the coolest stuff going on over there, and with over 5,300 fans, she has one of the largest groups of fans of any horse company, person, anybody out there. She just has built a real community right there on Facebook, and you'll see all our shows are there as well, including Horse Tip Daily. But she's doing the coolest thing right now. She has this program where if you go on there and hit the wish list button at the top of her fan page, she has her whole inventory in there. You just put $1,000 worth of her items, worth of Equestrian Collections items on your wish list there on Facebook. And she is in September going to choose a winner to win that $1,000 worth of stuff. That is so cool. In addition to that, right now, you can post any of your favorite horse pictures on Equestrian Collections and put a little story about that picture, and she's choosing winners of $75 gift certificate as well for Equestrian Collections. And you can do that all on Facebook on her fan page. It's equestriancollections.com, and it's one of the neatest out there. The next time you want to buy something for your horse or yourself, before you go to that old favorite, check out Equestrian Collections first. We think you'll find a new favorite at equestriancollections.com. Well, let's get to Scott's tip. Well, hi, Scott, and welcome back to Horse Tip Daily. We appreciate you being here again. We've had Scott on, as I mentioned, a few other times, and we'll continue to have him on because I think that people really do want to take better pictures. Don't you think so, even us amateur photographers?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that the digital age has done is it has put cameras in reach of a lot of people. In the film days, I knew for a fact that when I showed up, I was probably going to have the nicest camera there. But now anymore, I show up to a shoot, and my clients have got bigger lenses and better cameras than I do.
And we can shoot a million photographs and not have to pay for the film.
And this is true.
Yeah.
This is true. I mean, the digital has definitely put photography within the reach of a lot of people and a lot of talented people. So, but I think people are somewhat humbled when they realize how difficult horses are to photograph. They're not a very easy subject.
No, you know what? Dogs are a lot easier, I think, because they tend not to, if they're confined in a relatively small space, they tend not to be as crazy as horses do.
Yeah. And a little bit more controllable.
Now, cats, on the other hand, a whole different story.
Cats are their own world.
All right, so what do you have for us today, Scott?
Well, one of the things I want to talk about is when we take pictures, one of the things that we like to see is that the horse's ears are up. And so a lot of times people say, well, how did you get the horse's ears up? And so I want to talk a little bit about attention getting for horses.
I can tell you what all of us do, all of us neophytes, we throw grass.
Throw grass.
Yeah.
Throw grass and rattle bags and shake fences and throw hats.
Are you saying there's a better way than that?
And most people, the problem is that they all do it at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. Because if one can't get the horse to react, three or four jump in.
Exactly, and everybody's trying to do it in a helpful manner. And
yeah, exactly. It's sort of like, Scott, I don't know how much horse loading you've done, but it's the same way. You're trying to load your horse, you're having a little bit of difficulty, you just want some space, and 15 people come over to help.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're all there to offer their insight and expertise. Well, I actually, when I do my photo shoots, some poor soul is designated as the official ear getter upper.
Okay.
And one of the things that I take advantage of in dealing with horses is that they're fight or flight animals. And so I try to use things that pique their curiosity, threaten them maybe a little bit, but so that they wonder what's happening. And I prefer not to use whips because horses associate whips with punishment or work. I will use big pieces of plastic from a distance, which is, if you take a look, that a lot of times when you want that horse to throw their head back, if you want them to throw their head back and rock their eye and look, they'll look at things farther away that way. So it's a combination of sight and sound. And the key is that you don't do it nonstop. It's like anybody. After a while, they get bored with it or they figure out what it is. I've also got in the reflectors like that you put in your car, the big round discs.
Yep.
You can take those, and one of the things you have to realize, with the exception of minis, which everything is bigger than them,
right.
But for most horses, there are very few things that are taller than them. So I will have somebody bring this reflector or an umbrella or something, but bring it in very tall and high, and bring it in slow, and let the horse look at it and move it around slowly up and down, and watch. You have to learn. And one of the things that I tell my ear people is watch this horse's body language, and because again, they're fight or flight animals. And their tendency is to go, well, I'm out of here. This is a threat. I'm out of here. And what happens is when they're looking at these things, and they are trying to go, okay, is this a threat, or am I okay? And they'll look, and you have to read their body language. And again, one thing at a time.
Well,
because
can I stop you there? You said something too that I caught earlier. There was look at it or do that from a distance. We all tend to want to do it right next to the horse.
Right. Well, you will find that horses don't have particularly good vision close up.
Okay.
I mean, their close-up sense is more smell and sound. Further back, they'll kind of go, what is that? So I may have somebody get behind a tree and come out slowly, come out low. Now, if you come out low, and I think Johnny Johnson was the one that started, we called it the bear, under a blanket. And somebody gets under a blanket, and you don't let them see that there's a person under there, and you come in kind of low, like a bear. And you sort of weave back and forth, and if you can get them to growl, I always, people get embarrassed growling, but I've got a great growl, and you growl at these horses. But again, they're looking at this as going, wait a minute, is this a predator? Do I need to be afraid? And that's when they look.
Or is it some schmuck under a sheet?
Exactly, or is that my groom bringing me a bucket of grain? Which some of them think, there are some horses that I don't care what you do, nothing works. And I mean, and sometimes we'll use another horse. I've used, to get them to look. I'll have them walk a horse by. I have found one of the things that's very effective with babies is to get somebody in gravel, if there's some gravel kind of from a distance, and shuffle their feet in the gravel.
Oh, okay.
And you'll find that a lot of foals will flip their tails up and look at that kind of thing and prick their ears up and go, wow, what
More
is
the
that?
sound than anything.
The sound and motion. It's sight and sound. Remember, this is how horses interact with their world. Sight and sound. Sight first, sound, and then smell.
All right, great. Well, and what distance? So you said if you did the plastic thing, are we talking?
Well, I mean, it depends on the given area you have to shoot. I mean, I would start back 15, 20 yards and start coming in slow. It depends on the horse. I mean, an Arabian, you would be probably a little further away. A quarter horse. Yeah, well, it might be. Arabian is going to be more of a flight horse, quicker.
Right.
A quarter horse is going to kind of go, what's that? And I've had a Frisian look at that disc. One of the funniest times, the first time I ever photographed a Frisian, he was not looking at me, and I kind of threw the disc at him like a frisbee, and he ducked his head, and it went over his head, and he looked back at me like, "Is that all you got?" and I realized that it was going to be a long session with that guy.
Yeah, double the rate on that one.
Right.
He looked at it and went, "Is that something to eat?"
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I've been learning so much with the tips that you've been giving over the last number of shows you've been on. It's been great. And these are things that, unless you train with somebody like yourself, you're not going to learn these things.
No, you don't. I mean, there's one of course, the benefits. I've had a lot of experience, and truthfully, Glenn, I'm a horseman as well as a photographer, and I pride myself on that. And I'm always very, very aware of the horse's comfort zone when I'm taking pictures, and that is first and foremost my foremost concern. And for me personally, I find that if horses are comfortable, I can push them a little harder and I can push them a little longer, as opposed to if they're afraid or uncomfortable. And so, I'm first and foremost, and bottom line, how do you check that out? Is their body language. You have to learn to read their body language.
All right, another great tip by Scott Trees. Where can people find your work and check out all your cool photography?
www.treesmedia.com.
And that's TREES media.com, right?
You betcha.
All right, great. Well, I encourage everybody to stop over there and check out your work. Can people actually do you actually sell your photography?
Yes, I do. Okay. Yes, I do. And that is... We're going to be offering that through the website. That is, the site has been modified, and we're going to be offering prints for sale, yes.
Oh, great, because you didn't do that before, did you?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
And it's, I'm a late developer. What can I say?
Well, you do good work, so that's all that counts in this case. But it will be cool that people can buy it and put it on their wall.
No, we have a lot of plans for retail.
And there was one print, and I know we're supposed to keep these short, but I have to say this. There's one print that I saw at the exhibit I saw a while back that you had at the horse park, and it had nothing to do with horses. It was the girl with the oxen.
Yes.
That is an unbelievable shot. I don't know if that's on your website or not, but
it will be, yes. But
I will buy that one.
Yeah, that is, I was very excited to see some of these prints big myself. And that was one of them.
That's an over-the-fireplace kind of shot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's one of those shots that, when I took it, I went, oh, my God, that's one of those shots.
You know what? I have goosebumps just thinking about that shot. It was so cool.
Thanks. That is one of my favorites, too. I mean, there's a whole lot going on in that
there's
picture.
hope for me yet, Scott.
Yeah,
I have good taste, I guess.
That's right. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Scott. We'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
We thank Scott again for joining us today. If you like Scott, we spent some more time with him on the Stable Scoop Show in a special photography episode. Go to stablescoop.com and look for episode 13. Well, if you'd like to drop me an email, you can do so at Glenn with 2 N's at horseradionetwork.com. And you can subscribe to our show through iTunes or Zune and get the daily tips automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. Also, you can follow us at Facebook. Just search for Horse Tip Daily or follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio. And don't forget to check out all the other great shows we have on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com, including the 2010 radio show that we spoke about earlier. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, stay safe, everyone.